Welcome to All Ass, No Breaks, the album. Falling in Reverse are back with a new record, Popular Monster, named after a song of the same name that came out more than 5 years ago when human dingleberry Ronald Radke decided albums are passé. How about non-stop singles that all managed to end up in the same stinky place instead? For those unfamiliar, I envy you, but let's quickly go over the Ronnie Radke lore dump to catch you up to speed. Ronnie started a band called Escape the Fate in the mid-2000s that were really big at the time and put out some solid scene material. Radke got arrested, see album cover, edgy stuff, am I right? And while in jail, decided to revive the scene with a new band called Falling in Reverse. Blowing Smoke may have carried him this far, but is it enough to make a listenable album? Fuck no. Hey neighbor, this is ARTV, my name is John, and it's time for some good old-fashioned rock gone wrong, Falling in Reverse, Popular Monster. Just a quick note, if this video ends up getting taken down or copyright claimed, I'm well aware of my rights and know that everything I'm doing falls under fair use, as I'm going to show you guys some of the outlandish visuals and song snippets to give context to the review, so if I disappear, just remember, John from ARTV is not suicidal. I got into Ronnie's first band, Escape the Fate, in high school and went through a pretty big scene phase, with their music being near the top of my list with others like Hollywood Undead and Good Charlotte. But I think it's important to understand why we cringe at our past selves, whether it's music taste or something else, because when we do, you're faced with the question, why did I outgrow this artist? In the case of Falling in Reverse, the answer has more layers than a rotting onion. I could point to the messy as hell production that ranges from colorful, shall we say, to agonizing, the predictable as hell songwriting that follows the same path no matter what genre Ronnie claims to be slaying, or the awful narcissism on constant display from Ronnie, who thinks he's a musical god incapable of failing. To be clear, Falling in Reverse's Popular Monster album is next level unholy. Even Peter Popoff's Magic Jesus Water couldn't save you from this sin. In fact, it's so bad, Ronnie actually crucified himself in the music video in what I can only imagine is some sort of deep-seated childhood trauma manifesting as narcissism. And if you stand up for basic human rights, well, you're just a woke-ass leftist zombie. Online hate mobs and cancellations can for sure many times be unjustifiable, but in Ronnie's case, he's a bitch-ass passive-aggressive transphobic sexist pig in lipstick and a mop. Tell me exactly how your life has changed because of these cancellations, Ronnie. How exactly are they silencing you?
Remember that video I made about how I'm leaving the scene because a bunch of you guys, you bands are incels and everybody kind of sucks in metalcore and like hardcore and all that stuff and all the pronouns for Palestine and stuff?
I mean, you did get banned on TikTok for understandable reasons, and you leave Twitter every other month because you've backed yourself into some corner, and going away is gonna really teach him a lesson. Ronnie, to me, sure as hell seems like a propaganda parrot raking in cash from his loyal minions because he's not a serious person. And anyone who has basic human empathy can see that Ronnie Radke is also a horrible human being whose deep insecurities manifest as nasty insults and derogatory rhetoric. Oh, and Ronnie, hun, you do understand that having people speak up against your actions that you've taken and literal words you've spoken IRL in songs or online, that's not called cancellation, Mr. My Daddy is a Big Strong Biker Man.
And if I don't do it, my dad's biker gang will, homeboy.
That's called consequences for your actions. What, did Daddy not teach you that one? Anyways, Popular Monster comes with a whopping 4 new songs for the fans, with the other 7 having already been released as singles, including that horseshit reimagining of Papa Roach's angst anthem, The Last Resort.
Feeding on chaos and living in sin. Downward spiral, where do I begin?
I'm deeply disappointed in Epitaph Records, who continue to fund this man's dreams, or nightmare fuel, depending on how you look at it. They used to be one of the best indie labels out there, and now they've pivoted to be all about that falling in reverse Darth Disney money, baby. The track listing feels like it was chosen at random by throwing darts at a urinal, and whoever hits the little pink cake first gets to introduce the album. Fuck! Ronald strikes again.
I survived a whole life of pain. You could say I escaped my fate. I'm a cynical, egotistical.
You ever just crank your hog to some Tom McDonald tunes while your mom blasts NF's nice clean raps in the next room and you're thinking to yourself, my life isn't pathetic enough. How can we make this worse?
Slave the labor and you praise the fascist. You kiss the hand that takes half in taxes.
Sir Ronald of Bumfuck showed out like an old man's drooping ballsack on track 1 Prelude, which is easily gunning for the top spot on the worst songs of 2024. I honestly don't want to believe this is unironic, because if this is not that, then that means that this is just real. This maniacally out-of-touch 40-year-old screams into the void with bars like, I just want to be a better human, but it's hard when everyone's acting stupid, and I don't like when people hate behind my back and not to my face, rapped fast and unironically from the man who posts things like this on the daily.
Welcome back to another people talking shit to me. I talk shit back. I get banned.
There's one thing Ronnie isn't, and that's stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing, how to market and farm the outrage and bottle it, yet he pretends to be this metalcore martyr that's protecting free speech, which to him is the perfect excuse to brush aside any criticism of him as hate, and also double down on the hateful punching down tone that pops up more than a few times on Popular Monster. We should probably talk about the actual title track, considering it's the band's biggest hit ever, and the final contribution guitarist Derek Jones made to Falling in Reverse before his untimely passing in 2020. That song still stands as the best on the album, but it's somehow worse than when I was hearing it before, because now that I've heard the rest of the album around it, it's so obvious how he's trying to replicate that #1 hit's successful formula, which makes it redundancy at its most evil. Here's how the songs go. Rap a section about hearing voices in your head, which, man, that's not normal. Maybe get that shit checked out. Then flex about how you can sing, then back to rapping or guttural screaming, then shake up the tempo, have your bandmates come swooping in and give that ground-shaking breakdown that, admittedly, I had to tip my hat to on Popular Monster the song, but Popular Monster the album? Flush originality down the toilet and grab a plunger, cause we got a fighter. Part of me feels bad for the musicians in this band. They've had some really talented people come and go, but at this point, I have zero respect for anyone willing to throw their moral compass aside to work with Ronnie Radke. Shocker of the century, the album's guest spots reflect that in the most poetic form of torture. Jelly Roll is suddenly everywhere and adds absolutely nothing to the abominable country core freak show All My Life.
Sex change could get you caught up in death's range. He played sane, but really imitating Ed Gein.
Even AI could not make up the bars they're dropping. It's cringe in its most pure, unadulterated form. Ronnie's been listening to whatever voice in his head told him he was packing some Edward Scissorhands type heat, but it's pure delusion. The man's out here stabbing mannequins with butter knives in a Walmart parking lot, and I'm secondhand embarrassed for myself knowing that my neighbors might have heard me playing this album.
I'm a lyrical, typical supervillain. I'm venomous and I'm never gonna stop until they put me on top of the list.
I can't control the monster any longer that's inside. You mean the one that can't shut the fuck up for 1 millisecond to self-reflect and realize that maybe, just maybe, you're the problem. You're the one that's constantly involved in drama, constantly fighting back against the narrative. Maybe you're the goddamn problem, son. Watch the World Burn basically takes all of the worst parts about Ronnie the artist and puts them into one song. He comes out sounding like a pimple on Slim Shady's taint as he whines about the current state of the world, everyone's so sensitive for the zillionth time, then paints himself as the victim, claims he's one of the best artists alive with nothing to back that up whatsoever, and sets it to this nightmarish choral chant string section that he overuses throughout the album, like that one kid that you knew that refused to battle with anything other than his level 69 Psyduck in Pokemon. God, I'm so sick of talking about this already, but we have to keep pushing forward because I haven't even talked about the new songs that showed up unannounced in the track listing, like an angry ex outside your apartment at midnight screaming something about, "Babe, come on, I was drunk, I didn't mean to call you a bitch in front of all your friends," and then run over your foot with a forklift. We had the aforementioned lobotomy in song form prequel, so I guess that one's new too, but there's also Bad Guy, not a Billie Eilish cover, Color Me Disappointed, Trigger Warning, gee, I wonder what kind of insight is given there, and No Fear, a contrarian's wet dream where Ronnie says he never claimed to be a rapper, despite there being literal tons of evidence, recorded evidence, even on songs, of him claiming to be exactly that.
I'm past a point of no return. Fuck being passive aggressive. I'll brandish a weapon, teach all you motherfuckers a lesson. Yeah.
When he uses that deep, serious rapping style in the verses, like, I got voices in my head again, you know shit's about to get dumb, but I truly could not have predicted the rate at which this submarine sank to the ocean floor. No Fear sees Ronald accusing others of biting his style, which is hilariously rich and ironic, and it's possibly Motionless in White that he's referring to here, a metalcore scene band, to be clear, I think also suck, but it's in no way the kind of shitty human being suckage that Ronnie radiates like Chernobyl. The rapping at times is hysterically bad, with choppy flows being excavated by tons of trap beats that roll throughout the album as a staple, always sounding awful and unnecessary, but they really stand out on this dirt nap sleaze cough of an album finisher. Ronnie Radke is an energy vampire. Oh, he wrote a song about not being one, spoken like a true vampire in hiding. Ronald enters and the joy just gets sucked out of the room, like opening a door on a plane midair. His whole little woe is me misery routine is coated up with pretty paints, but here's the thing, they're lead paints, man. That shit's straight up poison to the system. Or to spell it out more simply for you, Ronnie, I know words are hard. No amount of polish or overproduction or theatrics can distract from the fact that you're a truly awful, borderline psychotic human who, quite frankly, I'm devastated to have to share our planet's oxygen with. Popular Monster is a disgrace to music, and the lame political cash grabs wave a massive red flag to anyone on the outside looking in. His music's only gotten worse throughout the years. The albums have taken a nosedive in quality, so take the warning, stay as far away from this filth as possible, and celebrate knowing Falling in Reverse now join MGK, Trippie Redd, and JoJo Siwa in an exclusive club, the only recipients of fat fucking zeros in 2024. Put that in your Ronald McDonald mystery bag and smoke it. Whew, I've been holding my breath for this album for a while, hence why I didn't really say much about most of the singles. I don't like talking about Ronnie, and I thought this would be a good way to get it all out in one video. So drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment with any of your thoughts on Ronnie or the album Falling in Reverse at large. Check out some related videos on screen, and I'll be back soon with more.